Hello there, my name's Ashley Shaw and I'm here today to speak to you about the murders of the 3 Muslim students at Chapel Hill, North Carolina in the USA yesterday. The fact that these 3 students were horrifically murdered, shot in the head by somebody who proclaimed themselves to be an atheist and often posted anti-religious posts on Facebook. What the most disturbing thing for me is how the whole situation is being viewed. To start off with, it isn't being seen instantly as a hate crime. At the moment it's being viewed as being a dispute over parking. Now, whether it is actually a dispute over parking or whether it is a race hate crime, the point being here for me is that had this horrendous crime being committed by a Muslim against 3 white people, the media would have been screaming about how it was a terror attack. There would have been no question that it could possibly, maybe, be something to do with a dispute about parking. There would be no question in the minds of the authorities that it was a Muslim attack on Christians. So here we see it, people. This is troubling, extremely troubling, because whenever there is the media themselves, first of all, only ever portray Muslims as being terrorists. They don't, and here, again, they're not portraying Muslims as being victims at all. The global media haven't picked up on this. The global media haven't been screaming from the rooftops because it hasn't been white non-Muslims that have been killed. It's been 3 Muslims. So the global media are completely quiet on this matter. They haven't got anything to say about it at all. This propaganda really does have to stop. Because if they're not showing the lives of Muslims as being of equal value to the death of anybody else, then what is this world we're living in? What has it become? There is no way, there is no question in my mind that had the people shot been white, been non-Muslim, then it would have been held up as a terrorist attack. And yet because it was Muslims killed by a white person, it's seen as a dispute, nothing more than a dispute. So that's what I want to show here. It's the fact that the two crimes are equal. Whether or not they had been killed because they're Muslims or not, to me, that is terrible. Anybody killed for any reason, it doesn't matter whether it's for religion, colour, the fact that some lunatic has gone crazy in an American school, the fact that people can cause death to others, the fact that people can murder anybody is equally horrendous to me. But what is horrendous is the fact that crimes committed by Muslims are seen as terrorism. Crimes committed against Muslims are not seen with the same value. This gives out the completely wrong message because it shows the rest of the world that Muslims' lives aren't equal, that Muslims' lives aren't valued. And even though the mayor of Chapel Hill himself said that Muslims' lives are valued, and these students grew up in the area, the whole attitude towards the investigation of the crime that doesn't say that Muslim lives are equal, which is my first troubling thing. My second troubling point about the propaganda is the fact that if these had been Jewish people that had been killed, the global media would have been having a hissy fit, hailing it as a clear display of the rise in global anti-Semitism. And that is something that I find equally disturbing because the global media would be shouting all over the place. 1, if it had been Muslims that had done the killing, and 2, if it had been Jews that were killed, the global media would have gone completely ballistic. But because it's Muslims that are being killed, that have been killed rather, 1, it's not seen as terrorism, it's not even seen as a hate crime at the moment, it's just seen as a dispute. And 2, the global media don't care. Now, I'm very concerned by that. If you aren't, then it's a very sad day that we're living in, because all of these events are linked together. It's to give the population a view of Islam, a view of Jews, a view of blacks, a view of whites. And at the moment, it seems to me that freedom of speech means that you can criticise anything about Islam, but you're restricted on what you say about other people. It seems to me that the media want to portray Islam and Muslims as being terrorists and a threat to everybody. And in fact, the new terrorism laws in Britain are bringing that very thing out, where all Muslims will be looked at in a suspicious way. And thirdly, the fact that this crime is being looked at completely differently than it would be if a Muslim had committed it, or if it had been Jewish people who'd been on the receiving end, I find most disturbing of all. So please see this continuing propaganda as what it is. It's a shame and a disgrace, and we have to stand up against it. Muslims' lives are worth as much as any other human life. All human life is equal, and if we don't wake up to that fact, we're doomed.